What's up, everyone? It is I, Mike V. Today, we are going to take a look at the state of online gambling in America. Okay, so as you can see on the screen here is a bullet point list showing what I'm going to be discussing for today's video. This will be part one of around a three-part series on internet gambling that I plan on doing. And so first thing we're going to take a look here, as you can see in the first bullet point, is a brief overview of the legal landscape. So at the federal level, there are two main laws that have pretty much dictated online gambling in this country. And if you've been to other countries, like primarily in Europe, you would have noticed that online gambling there is a much more mature market, much more legal, and in many cases fairly regulated. Some may be even over-regulated for all I know. But here in the U.S., these two laws have pretty much hindered and have kept internet gambling in this country what's the word in its infancy, basically kept in an infancy state. So this one has been a back and forth for a long time. We're going to take a look at a couple of Wikipedia pages here. The first one, the Federal Wire Act, otherwise known as the Interstate Wire Act. Back in 1961, I will read the text as shown here. So whoever being engaged in the business of betting or wagering knowingly uses a wire communication facility for the transmission in interstate or foreign commerce of bets or wagers or information assisting in the placing of bets or wagers on any sporting event or contest for the transmission of a wire communication which entitles the recipient to receive money or credit as a result of bets or wages, or for information assisting in the placing of bets or wages, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. So most obviously I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, but most cases that involve the Wire Act so far anyway has interpreted this as to apply to interstate sports betting. And this was passed back in 1961, prior to the internet. So this uh, was intended to be telephone betting across state lines, but this has been expanded to include the internet as well. So the issue here is what is primarily with regards to interstate poker, the ability for players in one state to be able to play against players from another state for real money. Some previous presidential administrations and their Department of Justice have thought that the Wire Act includes all forms of gambling, not just sports betting. More prominently, it's been the Bush and the Trump administrations and their Department of Justice have interpreted the Wire Act to include all forms of betting, but the Obama administration since December 2011, and we think right now the Biden administration has either left it alone or have interpreted it as only including sports betting. So this has been one of the federal laws that have been litigated quite a number of times. But the other one, this is the one that has actually resulted in the shutdown of those three main poker networks back in 2011, is the UIGEA, the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act of 2006. Completely snuck into a piece of legislation that is completely not related to internet gambling at all. That is, you can see the SafePort Act. It prohibits gambling businesses from, quote, knowingly accepting payments in connection with the participation of another person in a bet or wager that involves the use of the internet and that is unlawful under any federal or state law. So basically, this act, um, from what I understand, prohibits the usage of the U.S. Banking system for the acceptance of wagers regards to internet gambling that is considered illegal under federal or state law. So, and that was the and that was enforced, as you can see if we scroll down here. And under enforcement here on this Wikipedia page, you can see the article right here, U.S. v. Scheinburn, which is the criminal case as well as the companion civil case against PokerStars, Full Tilt, Absolute Poker, and Ultimate Bet at the time. So these are the two federal laws that I'm going to quote here. There might be other ones that I'm missing, but one thing to keep in mind for you as an individual player who may be interested in partaking in internet gambling is that there are no federal laws that are preventing you from doing so. There's no federal law that says that you cannot cannot gamble online. Now, of course, there might be state laws depending on the state you're in, and there is one state that I will mention later on in this video, so we'll get to that when we do. But as far as I'm aware of, there are no federal laws against you playing online. So we're gonna just keep that as is. And so now we're gonna go to the next part here, state-regulated online gambling. So we're gonna look at the states that actually have full legal online gambling, and this is a good resource right here, PlayUSA.com. So if you go here, you can actually look at the latest updates here. So we're going to actually just take a look here. We're going to go through the list. So as you can see here, online gambling is divided into primarily three different categories. You've got online casino. That's going to be primarily the house bank table games, slot machines, video poker. That's going to be categorized as online casino. Online poker is going to include Texas Hold'em, Omaha Stud, any game that you play against other players and not the house. Online sports betting, well, we all know what that is, betting on an outcome of an event, a sporting event, So we're going to go ahead and go through the list here. New Jersey has all three. Connecticut has online casino and sports betting, but not poker. Pennsylvania has all three. Illinois just has sports betting. Michigan has all three. Virginia, Colorado, Tennessee, just sports betting, just online sports betting. Go to the next page. Indiana, also just sports betting. West Virginia has all three. Iowa, just online sports betting. Same with New Hampshire, just sports betting. Nevada has online poker and online sports betting, but not online casino. Delaware has online casino and online poker, but not online sports betting. Oregon and Rhode Island, Montana, Wyoming, Arizona, New York, and Louisiana, all those states, just online sports betting. So, if you heard me say the name of the state that you live in and the type of online gambling that you're interested in, good news, you can play safely and in those states with the supposedly hopeful protection of the gaming regulator of your state. So there you go. And I'm going to show off now an example online gambling site. I'm not going to go through every single one. If you go to Play USA, you can check out your state, and you got to click on your state here, and you can see a list. But this one is GoldenNuggetCasino.com in New Jersey. There's the URL right here, nj-casino.goldennuggetcasino.com. This is the homepage of one of them. You can see you got thousands of games. This is the featured list, but you can see all games. There's 1,100 plus and more. You've got pretty much everything. You've got hundreds of slots, some video poker, table games, live table games. So we can actually go to Game Type. You can see here. Live dealer even. So you've got access to all good quality games. So that's another thing about being, playing on a site that is under a legal jurisdiction, under a legal framework, I would say, you get access to better games. Because keep in mind, online gambling sites don't own the games. They rent them out from what they call software providers. Kind of like how, in a physical brick and mortar casino, you have IGT, produces the slot machines, and then you've got the casino, which orders those slots and put them on the casino floor. Well, it's the same thing online. You have software providers that make the games, and you've got the online gambling sites themselves that'll offer the games. So so we'll go now to the next segment. But so what if you don't live in any of the states that I've mentioned that have legal internet gambling? Well, you've got two choices. One, do you happen to live near one of those states, or do you frequently visit one of those states? Well, the good news here is that you don't need to be a resident of any of these states that are legal. You just need to be a resident of the U.S. with valid Social Security number and all that stuff for the verification process. Um, you only need to be physically present in those states. So, for example, Nevada has one online poker site, WSOP.com. I'm in California, but I do have an account at WSOP.com, and I'm able to use it whenever I cross the border into Nevada. So you could do the same thing there. Let's say you're in New York City, you want to play on Poker Stars New Jersey. Well, you can cross the border into New Jersey, and you can play on there. So many of these state-based, state-regulated sites will when you log into your account, they will check your location to make sure you are able to play. So if you're on a desktop or laptop computer, they will check your IP address as well as do a bit of triangulation of your Wi-Fi. If you are on their mobile app on your phone, they'll check your GPS coordinates to determine if you're able to play. The good news is you can deposit and withdraw from any state. You don't have to be physically present to do deposits and withdrawals, but you have to be in the state if you're going to play, though, actual play. So there's that. We're going to be taking a look at deposits and withdrawal methods on the next on part 2. So what if you're not close enough to say? We're going to take example somebody, say, who lives in Texas, who is far away from any of the states mentioned that currently have internet gambling. So we'll use Texas as an example here. So let's say you live in Texas, well, you pretty much are limited to these next two items here: sweepstakes gambling sites and offshore sites that accept U.S. players. So basically a site that operates outside the U.S. that has decided to take U.S. residents as customers. So, because this is going to be probably the most confusing thing is the sweepstakes based games, because some people say they're operating under a gray area. It's almost like it's internet gambling, but not it, by using somewhat of a legal loophole. So, but I think these are legit, but don't take my word for it. I have not played on any of these sites before myself, so I cannot vouch for anybody here. Do your own research. But I will bring up a few things. Major sites like Poker News and Pocket Fives since 2011 have stopped advertising any offshore site that offers their service to U.S. customers. So you will never see them available. You'll never see them being advertised on any of these major sites. So like Poker News, Pocket Fives, for example, that's been the case since 2011. As you can see here, I'm on Poker News right now under their websites, and you can see here it detects I'm in a place that has no real money games. As you can see here, sorry, no real money games are currently available in the region, but you can play these free online games. And Oh, look at that. Chumba Casino, Global Poker. These are examples, these two here at least, are examples. And it looks like Lucky Land Slots as well, but I haven't actually reviewed that one yet. But I know Chumba, Global Poker, I know those are sweepstakes based gambling sites. We could actually go to their websites right here. So for reference here, Chumba Casino and Global Poker are owned by the same company. One just happens to have casino games, and one is poker. And actually, if you scroll down here on Global Poker's home games, you can actually see right there, Play Casino Games, Chumba Casino. They're the same company. I'm pretty sure the sweeps cash credits that you get are probably interchangeable between the two. Don't quote me on that. But we're going to take a look at the sweeps rules here because there's some important things to mention here. In order to be legally considered a sweepstakes based gambling site and not just any random, real money online gambling site, that might be questionable. But one thing you see here is that, and you see on the homepage of many of these places, is that you'll see the phrase "no purchase necessary," meaning you do not have to actually put money in to actually play on these sites. And you can see right here, they list 4 potential ways for an eligible participant to collect sweeps coins. So you get it with buying the play money, the gold coins. And that's probably how most people do it. It's the same as depositing money into the site. You can participate in giveaways on their Facebook page. Apparently, you can get some by logging into your account. And you can send a request by mail. This is probably the most common one I've seen on various sweepstakes gambling sites. But yeah, you can send a request by mail, and you'll receive $5 sweeps cash for free. You probably can do this multiple times, but I would assume with a limit, of course, per month. And it's the same with Global Poker. Here is their rules. So it's pretty much just a copy of the ones from Chumba since they're the same company. As you can see here, how to collect free sweeps coins. There's Part D. You can request by post and send it to the appropriate address. Now there is another way the sweeps rules works, and it's not just by having a dual currency structure. You've got the play money gold coins and the pseudo real money sweeps coins or sweeps cash, but you've also got a really big company here involved in this as well. Club WPT. This is the World Poker Tour. So if the World Poker Tour has created a sweepstakes based site, then surely this must be legitimate. It must not be a legal issue. So yeah, Club WPT has been around for years too. So they've been around, and unlike Global Poker and Chumba, Club WPT uses a subscription-based method for their sweepstakes. So instead of buying play money and getting their sweepstakes cash as a bonus, instead you get a 1-month subscription, and the 1-month subscription allows you to obtain, I guess you get access to tournament points. So you get access to a VIP. You become a VIP at Club WPT, and you get 500 tournament points to start off with, as you can see in the frequently asked questions. And they'll automatically be topped up once per day, and they can be used as a buy-in for certain tournaments and may be awarded for certain tournaments. They're non-transferable, not have any cash value. But basically, these tournament points can be used to enter tournaments and win real cash prizes as part of their sweepstakes promotions. So that's another method that it could be used, and it's because it's involved with a reputable brand doing it. So you would think, okay, the World Poker Tour, yeah, sure. Uh, so yeah, they use a so that's an example of a site that uses a subscription based method instead of just giving out cash for a play money purchase. So that's the sweepstakes based gambling. Of course, you got to do your due diligence on these because they operate differently than standard internet gambling sites. So um, just be sure you like. I think I've once read, though I haven't confirmed it before making this video. I've once read that they do like sweeps cash can expire if you just keep it in your account for like 3 months or even less than that. So you should look at the terms. It's something a lot of people don't do, but it's especially important with internet gambling sites is to look at the terms and conditions. I will do another video about deposit bonuses, and that comes with its whole can of worms of doing your due diligence on the terms and conditions for those. So we'll get to that when we do. But now we're going to take a look at regular gambling sites that are based outside the country, but decide, despite the fact that you've had a big crackdown back in 2011, that they still accept U.S. players. And the U.S. is a big market for gambling as a whole, and so that's a lot of money to be made for these sites if they take U.S. customers. So obviously, there are not many sites now compared to back in the day, and it's pretty much consolidated into a few big ones. I'm going to give you 3 examples that I know of that I've used because, and there might be a bit of bias for me because I am a poker player too. So I chose sites that have poker, but they also have casino games as well. So for you guys who are interested in that, so first one's a big one, Bovada. URL is bovada.lv. And what you'll notice as well is many of these offshore sites will have domain names that are not .com, because if you went back to the crackdown in 2011, the U.S. has jurisdiction over generic domain names, so .com, .net, .org, because they're registered with a U.S. registrar, and the U.S. government can just tell that U.S. registrar, hey, take down these domain names. So many of these online gambling sites that are outside the country that serve U.S. customers, they'll use a different domain name. .lv is the domain name for the country of Latvia, located in Eastern Europe. And other ones like Bovada's sister site. These two are sister sites. Ignition Casino, for example. .eu for the European Union. So these are two ones that are reputable. So that's another thing too, is that when you're dealing with offshore sites, you gotta have to do your research on the reputability of each site. So these have been around for a while. And that they pay. That's the most important thing, that you get paid for your wins. And what the payment methods are. That's also going to be something important as well. Gaming license, not as important in this case, but still could be important. In this case, Bovada and Ignition currently, if you go to scroll down to the bottom, they currently have a license from the Curaçao e-gaming commission. Curaçao is a Caribbean island, part of the Dutch Caribbean. Though I have heard that that Curaçao is very lax when it comes to its regulation. Like they're more often than not will take the side of the site than the player. So just keeping that in mind. But Bovada and Ignition are two good sites from my experience, and their longevity, of course. Another one, obviously, big one in the poker world these days in the U.S. is America's Card Room. Chris Moneymaker, of course. I think if I scroll over here, yep, there he is. Chris Moneymaker is a sponsored pro. He's been with the site for over a year now. But yeah, this has been an improving site over the years, and I have started recently this year. For as a matter of fact, if you've seen my recent streams, I have started playing on this site. Not an indication of sponsorship or approval. I'm not sponsored by ACR. I'm just saying what I believe and what I see from my own experiences. America's Card Room, though, has had issues with bots in the past, years past. That has changed. They have improved quite a bit from my experience, and I feel comfortable enough to actually start playing on the site. And so those are 3 example offshore sites I'm going to mention for this video. There are others. Most of them I think that you'll find are going to be much smaller than the ones that I've shown. But now we're going to take a look at the final bullet point here, and that is offshore sites not accepting U.S. players. So why am I bringing this up if you guys can't even play on this site? Well, one of the reasons is for, in case there are some people outside the U.S. who are watching and they're curious about where to play. But also, there are Americans who may be living abroad. Maybe if you're one of those poker players or professional sports bettors that want to move abroad so they have access to a bigger pool of sites with more players to play against. So this has been the case since 2011. If you followed along in the poker world back then, you would have seen that every like for example for PokerStars, nearly every PokerStars sponsored pro that was from the US at the time had at some point moved abroad and got their registered country changed to another country in order to continue playing. I will do a video on online poker relocation if you guys are interested. I've actually went through the process myself. If you have been a subscriber to my channel long enough, you would have seen that I have posted real money PokerStars playthroughs from Costa Rica, and it is possible to do. I'll just give a little bit of a summary on what you would need to do, but for the most part, you need to actually physically be located in a different country: Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Europe, wherever, just one that's pretty much has a hands-off approach to internet gambling. You will need to go to that country. Then you will need to, because every website has a KYC and an age verification process, you're going to need to provide some documents at some point. Usually, well, actually, let me take that back. Let's assume you actually already have a US-based online poker account. Let's just say PokerStars, for example, since that's like the most popular site, especially one that's still fresh in the memories of maybe some older Americans who used to play prior to 2011. So let's say you want to relocate to play on PokerStars. You want to play on the global version of PokerStars, PokerStars.com, for example. You have to be in a country that's not on PokerStars' prohibited jurisdiction list. So Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica are perfect examples, at least at the time of this video. So let's say you go south to Mexico. Let's say you live in Southern California and you want to head over to Tijuana, Ensenada, that type of area, in Baja, let's just say. Now you're going to need to get a place. You're going to need to get a utility bill in your name. So first document you're going to need is a government issued ID. You can use your U.S. passport for this, no problem. If you're going to be traveling outside the country, you're going to have a passport, and that's the easiest one you're going to be able to provide. So that's to prove that you're not underage. So your passport's going to be your first document. The second one's going to be a utility bill with your name on it, and your name must match the name on your ID. So those are the two bare minimums in order to change your PokerStars account's registered country. And this is the process that I actually went through in 2018 when I went to Costa Rica. And I also had a copy of the signed lease agreement, which if you have that, you can provide that as proof of moving abroad as well. And the good news is for this, you don't need to have permanent residency in the country. You don't have to go through the full immigration procedure. You could do this as a tourist. You could do this with just a tourist stamp on your passport. You don't need. I don't have at this stage anyway. I don't have a a Costa Rican residency card. I've done this solely as a tourist. You could, as long as you go to a place that lets you stay as a tourist for 90 days or longer. So it is possible to do. It's just a lot of steps or a lot of money if you're going to pay someone to help you do it, which is what I did in my case. So this is only applicable. This last part is only applicable if you are a professional poker player, professional sports bettor, or you have some savings and you want to have an adventure, and want to do this as well. So that's the last thing I'll mention for this video. So that's been the state of online gambling in America. Hopefully, I'm able to introduce you guys to the various different internet gambling sites, where you should play depending on your jurisdiction of residence, and what to keep in mind if you do decide to play. Always do your research before you decide to sign up and deposit money. None of what I've said here is a promotion to any of the sites mentioned here on this video. Just to keep in mind. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you got some information out of it. I will be making another video, this time on deposit and withdrawal methods. And then the third part, I think, will be on how deposit bonuses work. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you're brand new, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified of any future videos or streams. If you have any further questions, you can put it in the comments, or join me for the Friday Night Free-for-All this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. And you can ask me questions there. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and go make it happen.